You know, I was originally going to do a Hungry Like the Wolf opening bit, but then I remembered that I already used that joke for our B-Stars review, so we're just going to do a regular intro. Welcome to another episode of the Channel Tracers Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jay, and joining me are my two friends, Brian and Tony. How you doing tonight, fellas?
Doing all right.
All right, indeed.
And yeah, we are finally back in the swing of things. Hopefully, like by the time you guys see this episode, we'll at least, have had a couple more back under our belt. We haven't gone back into fucking crazy backlog territory again. It's just we got hit with fucking technical difficulty after technical difficulty. In particular, I had some major mic issues to the point where you did not hear my audio at all. So it was these guys were talking to a ghost essentially.
Yeah, and we had some behind the scenes things that we don't want to get into.
On top of that, with the episode that we were able to record properly, which by the time you'll be seeing this is already out now, so please check that out. It's a quick and easy breezy review for Sakamoto Days.
Yep.
Great show. The Channel Chaser seal of approval. Watch that video before coming to this one.
But yeah, with all that housekeeping and stuff out of the way, of course, we can't start off an episode without first jumping right into the news with Brian. Take it away, Brian.
All right, so get a little sad here first. We got a bit of an in memoriam. This first one I think is closer to Jay, but has ties to also my YouTube career. Author L.J. Smith passed away.
Oh, really? Dang. Wait, how is it tied to your YouTube career? Did you do something covering 50 Shades?
No, L.J. Smith. She wrote the Vampire Diaries.
I thought, for some reason, L.J. Smith was the 50 Shades writer.
It's E.J. I think that was E.J. Smith.
Oh, okay, that's where the computer. Oh man, TVD was a big part of my YouTube career. Now, granted, I'd never read the books; I'd only watched the show, and the show is apparently vastly different from the books. But yeah, dang.
But apparently, she worked on the show. So yeah, she died at 66.
Oh wow, still pretty
young.
It
was after a long battle with an autoimmune disease.
Oh wow, sad.
We also lost a classic film actor, Richard Chamberlain.
That name sounds familiar.
He was Aramis in the 70s Three Musketeers series.
Oh, cool.
He was Alan Quartermain in the 80s. He was the first Jason Bourne in the 80s. And also, he was the first to play our dude, Pilot Major John Blackthorne.
Oh, nice! In the original Shogun TV miniseries.
Yep.
Nice. Also, one I want to bring up, rest in peace to the legend himself, Mr. George Foreman.
Oh, yeah. Because that happened since we last recorded.
That happened literally. Well, I found out about it literally right after we first recorded. And I was like, we can't include that in the memoriam, so I wanted to bring it up here. Rest in peace to George Foreman. Believe it or not, he did not. Most people just know him for selling grills and cooking appliances, but no, George Foreman is a legendary fighter. He is the oldest on-record heavyweight champion of the world. Rest in peace, George Foreman.
Indeed. He also confused a lot of people when he passed away, because a lot of people were like, which George Foreman?
There are multiple George Foremans?
He named all of his sons George.
Oh, see, now that's just confusing, man.
And I think his one daughter is Georgia.
Georgina or Georgia. That's, man, George. What the heck? That's gotta be. I thought my family was confusing with all of us having J names. So many Georges.
But
I wonder if they're all curious people.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm wondering too.
But might have been a very unique individual, but he was a really good boxer and a really good businessman, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
And he will be missed as well. But moving on to the actual news, CinemaCon is happening right now.
As of recording of this podcast.
Yes, as a recording of this pod. Actually, believe it or not, gents, right now, as the exact time that we are recording, the Warner Brothers panel is happening.
Oh.
So we won't be covering any of that. Mostly today, we've just got some Sony and Lionsgate stuff. and they're all smaller stuff, but I'll try to shotgun it. First of all, don't know if y'all knew this or not, but they are making Beatles movies.
Okay.
They will all be directed by Sam Mendes, the guy who directed American Beauty, and it's going to be a Beatles cinematic universe, basically.
Huh?
It's going to be 4 films, each one starring a different member of the Beatles.
And they're trying to make the Beatles the music Avengers?
Kinda. And from what I heard, I think they're trying to make all 4 films come out the same month.
Okay, so Paul is clearly Iron Man. Lennon is Cap. Who would be Thor? I don't think it would be George. Ringo? Ringo?
I was thinking Ringo.
Yeah.
Ringo I thought would have been Ant-Man, but...
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But either way, it was also announced the cast at the who's going to be playing the 4 dudes. And the first one up is an MCU star, speaking about Marvel.
Oh.
Or a future MCU star. Playing George Harrison will be Joseph Quinn.
Oh, cool.
Who's playing Johnny in First Steps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Ringo, going to be Barry Coogan, which you know who that is, right?
That name sounds really familiar, but I'm not getting the face in my head.
He was Joker in the Batman. He was in Saltburn.
Wasn't he one of the Inhumans?
Yes.
No, the Eternals.
Yeah, he was in. Yeah,
Yes.
he was in the Eternals, I believe.
I knew what you meant, but yeah, he was an Eternal. He's gonna be Ringo. Then playing Lennon is actor by the name of Harris Dickinson. He's most known for recently doing a film with Nicole Kidman called Baby Girl. But what you would know him best as, Jay, is he was the youngest brother in Iron Claw.
Oh, cool.
He's going to be Lennon. And playing Paul is a fellow Paul Mescal, who most recently made a name for himself in starring in the new Gladiator.
Paul is the only. Like, Sir Paul McCartney is the only current living Beatle, right?
Isn't
I would
Ringo
believe-
still alive?
No, I don't think so. I think Paul is the only one left. I know it was down to Ringo and Paul, but I believe Ringo died relatively recently. I could be wrong. I apologize to Beatles fans if I am wrong. I'm not intentionally wishing death on Ringo Starr.
He is still alive.
Okay,
84.
my apologies.
But anyway, moving on to a different musical artist, including this because I know that this was a film that you were keeping track of, Jay. Michael.
Yeah,
They came on stage to say that despite the huge recent setback, they are still working on it.
What was this huge recent setback?
Oh, you didn't hear about this?
No, I didn't.
Apparently, they did the whole movie and like I think they filmed it, and they filmed the whole movie, and then they realized that they had to scrap the whole 3rd act because it all revolved around one of Michael's alleged victims.
Oh.
And they didn't realize that years ago a judge had ordered that they don't talk about him in any of the Michael stuff.
Okay, gotcha.
So they had to completely go back and completely redo the 3rd act as a film.
Oh, wow.
Holy shit.
Because somebody didn't do their research.
And this is the one where, like, dude from Euphoria who plays Ali is playing Joe Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And the main star is Michael's nephew.
Yeah, Jermaine's son, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But moving on, we got a small update for the live-action Zelda movie.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, it was announced like last year, I think. But yeah, they are. And at the recent Direct, it was announced that the release date is March 2027.
Oh, cool.
But at CinemaCon, it was also announced the director,
All right.
Wes Ball, who is most known for directing the Maze Runner trilogy and also the latest Planet of the Apes movie.
Oh, the latest Planet of the Apes movie is very underrated. People don't give it a fair shake because it's not a Reeves film, but it's pretty solid. I like the Maze Runner trilogy. So this could be promising. Who knows?
Yep. Also, it was announced that Hollywood's doing another remake.
Although I am curious about a Zelda movie because the timeline of Hyrule is all kinds of fucky.
Yeah. But in other news, they announced another remake in the works.
Okay.
American Psycho.
Yeah, I heard about. Well, I heard that this was being remade.
Well, it was announced the director.
Oh.
Luca, I am probably gonna get this wrong. Guadagnino. He directed Challengers.
Oh, the tennis threesome movie. That makes sense.
Yes. Also, big John Wick update. Donnie Yin's Kane, who was from Chapter 4,
Yep.
he is getting his own spin-off
Nice.
movie
I liked him.
with Yin directing.
Oh, that's dope.
Also, as many people predicted, 5 was announced to be in the works, with Keanu and the director returning.
Well, duh. It prints money.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the surprise was the third film announced, which is that both of them, both Keanu and the director, will also be involved with an animated prequel movie
Oh, nice.
about the impossible job that made John quit.
Also, have we, like, is that ballerina show still happening? Or
It's
is
a
it
movie, and yes, it is.
It's a movie? Ah, it's a movie.
It's going to be coming out soon, I think, in
cool.
theaters in the next couple
Yeah, I
months.
remember we reacted to the trailer.
But last thing about the animated John Wick movie, the director of the live action films is involved, but he's not directing because he's not an animation director.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Instead, will be directing is Shannon Tittle, I believe that's her name. She is most known for directing a little film from last year, Ultraman Rising.
Oh, cool.
Mhm.
That was a really solid movie.
Also, we got update on the Now You See Me series. If you remember the Jesse Eisenberg,
Yeah.
Woody Harrelson.
Mark Ruffalo, Woody Harrelson. I don't remember the girl's name.
Well, in the first one, it was Issa Fisher. And then in the second one, she was replaced by, what's her name? The lady from, like, Masters of Sex.
Yeah, Lizzie Kaplan.
Lizzie Kaplan. Well, don't know if you guys knew the third one was already announced to be in the works. Well, we got more information about it.
Okay.
It is going to be officially be called Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And
I'm surprised they never used that.
all of the cast of the first 2 films are returning, including Issa Fisher.
All right.
And joining the crew, joining the cast will be names like Rosamund Pike, Ariana Greenblatt, Justice Smith, and Dominic Sessa. The last
nice.
of which, if that name doesn't sound familiar to you, he was the main kid in The Holdovers.
Oh.
The new Paul Giamatti movie.
Yeah. The Christmas movie that got a lot of buzz.
Yeah, it was great. It was one of my favorite films of the year, and he did a great job.
Nice.
And so apparently the plot will be around Jesse Eisenberg's character going off on his own, because minor spoiler for the second one, they kind of broke up at the end.
Yep.
So this will be about him trying to create his own team to take down Rosamund Pike as the villain.
Interesting.
And that's what the basic plot is, because one of the things about CinemaCon, which is a little bit frustrating, is they release a lot of trailers, but then they show a lot of trailers at the convention, but then they don't release them.
Ah, that's so.
And this was one of many. I cut most of them because didn't want to, talk about trailers that we can't see.
Yeah, that's fair.
But also, when talking about the Now You See Me, the director, who, my bad, I forgot to write down who it is, also announced that he will be doing a 4th film and that they are possibly working on spin-offs.
Cool. I honestly really liked the Now You See Me franchise.
Yeah, me too. I also really respect the, what's his name? Dave Franco.
Yeah, that was probably Mark Ruffalo's biggest thing before he became the Hulk.
Yep, and I respect Dave Franco because one of the complaints about the first movie was that all the card throwing was CGI, and you could really tell.
Yep, and he went out of his way to actually learn for the second one.
Yeah. So I gotta respect him for that.
For sure.
All right, so lastly, we're gonna... one more live action, and then we're going into animated.
Okay.
New movie was announced, new comedy movie called Power Ballad. It is about a rock star that steals a song from a wedding singer. It will star Nick Jonas and Paul Rudd.
Oh, huh. Is it a Judd Apatow movie?
Oh, no. Nope, it's not Judd Apatow. It's, the guy who directed, stuff like Sing Song, and he's done a lot of, music films.
Okay.
So
interesting.
And lastly, we're going to get into a little bit of animated news. Before we get to the big one, this one I just got to point out because it's kind of crazy and almost a stupid kind of way. No offense to the people involved. But a new movie was announced called Goat. It will be about a basketball playing literal goat animated movie.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I mean, granted, the term goat originated from basketball conversations about Michael Jordan being the greatest of all time.
Well, it's funny you say that because playing the lead GOAT character will be someone that people argue is a modern day GOAT,
Oh.
Steph Curry.
Steph Curry? Like Steph Curry from the fucking Warriors? Steph Curry?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! I didn't even know he was into acting. That's cool.
He's not, from what I know.
That's. I mean, Steph is definitely a GOAT contender. I wouldn't say he's like a full-on GOAT contender because he's not as much of an all-rounder as like a LeBron or a Jordan. But in terms of us being a sharpshooter, yeah, Steph is in that GOAT conversation. Nobody can shoot a three like Steph Curry.
All right.
I just got all basketball nerdy for y'all. I'm sorry, my bad.
No, it's cool. It's what you're into. I just have nothing to add. But I will say that we have two last stories, and they both involve our main man, Peter Parker, and various arachnid characters. First one is Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. We finally got an official date again. This time June 4th, 2027.
Yeah. I'm not mad at it, honestly, because I would rather them hold off and give us a quality movie than rush out shit.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah. And apparently the director said that, producer said that they're doing a new animation style for it.
Interesting.
And they showed a clip of it. Most specifically, I think the main clip that they showed was Miles v. Miles.
I saw that thumbnail.
And people who saw the animation said that it was really good. But lastly, I saved the biggest one for last. And you guys might have heard this, but we got an official name for Spider-Man 4.
Yep. Brand new day.
Brand new day. Yeah, it's brand new day.
Is it not brand new day?
It is.
It is.
Oh, cause everybody got quiet. I was like,
because you already said it.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't need to say it again.
My bad. My bad.
Good.
But yeah, it's interesting because like, does this signify that this is gonna be a soft reboot? Because Brand New Day was a soft reboot of Spider-Man.
Well, it's given its production schedule and the release date, which that was also announced. It's looking like it's self-contained away from Doomsday and Secret Wars. And one theory I saw was like it's going to happen at the same time as Doomsday, timeline-wise.
And that it might jump into, and that might lead to Spider-Man joining Secret Wars.
Yeah, that makes sense. You can't have Secret Wars without Spider-Man. I mean, it's where he gets the black costume in the comics.
Yep, and it's with a cheeseburger that's the second Secret Wars.
Oh yeah, that's how Miles got a place in the 616. Yep.
Yeah.
Through a pocket,
solid.
just a convenient pocket burger.
Which, by the way, the Russos did confirm that for the Secret Wars movie, they are pulling from both Secret Wars.
Yep, I remember hearing that.
But yeah, this one will be interesting.
Wait, when you say both, there are technically three. Because there's Secret Wars 2, and then Secret Wars 2016.
I'm assuming they're pulling from the original Secret Wars.
Original 80 Secret Wars in 2015. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to ignore Secret Wars 2. That's fine. Nobody likes Secret Wars 2.
That's because... Sorry.
No, it's good. It's just also the name implies now that we're telling a more grounded story like people have been wanting.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I know this is typical rhetoric for like Marvel actors and stuff, but the way that he phrased it, I think that he's being genuine and not coy. Tom Hardy talked about the possibility of his Venom being in Spider-Man 4, and he said that yeah, they were talks and they tried at one point, but they're not.
I mean, yeah. I honestly think they should cast they should cast a separate Eddie in the first place.
Well,
I agree.
We already have an Eddie, don't we?
No, we don't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got a Flash.
Yeah, we have Flash. We don't have Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, we should get an Eddie. And also, there are cast lists, casting calls that have been coming out recently that indicate some things like a cooler older man who sees world in black and white in his 40s or 50s, hinting at possibly either Norman or Mr. Negative.
Yep, people are more leaning towards Mr. Negative because Mr. Negative was a huge character to come out of Brand New Day.
Yep, and also
like Marvel is notorious to just play lip service to titles anyway.
Well, also, if you remember, in the MCU, spoilers for No Way Home, Aunt May, who was running Feast, died, so somebody has to take it over.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and I mean, Feast was notoriously, Lee's organization, like his big front for his money laundering and shit. And like the reason I brought up the whole soft reboot thing is because, like, could everybody's still kind of speculating that like Sadie Sink could be real Mary Jane as opposed to Michelle Jones.
Well,
I mean, the big prevailing theory that I've heard in a lot of places is the Jean DeWolf thing, which I wouldn't be mad at. Like Tony had brought up that like one that people mentioned is that they're gonna merge Carly Cooper and Jean DeWolf into one character. Like, give her the name Carly Cooper, but instead of just a regular like forensic scientist, she's more like focused detective Jean DeWolf type.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
But also, if she is taking cues from Jean DeWolf, does that also mean she's gonna get murdered by a serial killer with a, magic sin blasting shotgun? Who knows?
Who knows?
If that all sounded like gibberish, you haven't read the comics.
And this also still leaves the door open to the possibility of the casting that everybody wants. Sydney Sweeney as Black Cat.
Please. Oh my god. That is the one I want desperately. I know it's super obvious, but like, sometimes you should just take the easy home run. I know it didn't work out with John Krasinski and that was more of just a fan service thing, but Sydney Sweeney would be such a good Felicia.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, like, her chemistry she already has proven chemistry with Zendaya, so like, her friendship dynamic would be really interesting as well. Like, it's all there, man.
Oh yeah, indeed. But anyway, like I said, CinemaCon is still going on, like, even as we are recording. So I might have more news next time from it, but for now, that's all we got.
All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and jump into Screen Time. Screen Time is the segment of the podcast where the guys and I all discuss the different pieces of pop culture that we have consumed in between podcast episodes. That can be anything from YouTube rabbit holes to other TV shows we don't have time to cover or might cover later, to movies, comics, video games, and more. So I'll go ahead and start. In terms of video games, my birthday was on the 30th, as of the recording of this podcast. Your boy is now officially 31. And as a birthday present to myself, I bought Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I really like it. It feels like it feels the closest to a classic AC game that AC has felt in a long time. Sure, I'm terrible at stealth, but like, I'm still having fun with it. Although like, Yasuke is also very annoying because like, he's big as shit, so he can't climb, so all the mobility I'm used to as an assassin, I have to just kind of bash through things instead. I still have issues with Shadows. The voice acting is a little stiff, and I'm still not a big fan of all the alien bullshit that they've added to Assassin's Creed lore in general. I mean, it's always been there. The Isu have been there since like the Ezio trilogy, but like, they're really leaning deep into the Isu stuff with like everything since Origins, and it kind of just bogs down the, like, honestly what I find more interesting, the historical fiction narrative, which, fuck you to all the haters who shit on Yasuke because he's not historically accurate. Assassin's Creed was never fucking historically accurate. Who cares? It's fun. But yeah, I've had a blast with it. I didn't get nearly as like lost in the sauce as I did with like Monster Hunter Wilds when I got into that. But still, as a fan of the AC franchise, I haven't played AC since Syndicate. Or not Syndicate, Unity, the French one. I didn't play since the French one, and this one is a lot of fun. I dig it. Other stuff, I don't really have much other things to cover. I discovered a YouTube channel relatively recently because I got back into the Naruto fandom because at my birthday, my cousin told me that she really started getting into anime because her boyfriend is a weeb, and so she actually started watching Naruto for the first time. And so like, I ended up like watching a bunch of these Naruto analysis YouTube videos from a channel called I think the name is, I think it is NC Hammer 23, dude named Nick. Pretty cool. I really like it. Also, I checked out the sequel manga to Boruto Part 2 Blue Vortex, and it actually is pretty good. You know, I like many other people, did not give Boruto a fair shake because it started off really bad, but like reading this part 2, it's actually pretty fucking solid, and I'm actually really interested. The coolest part is they brought Naruto back to being about hands for the most part, and I appreciate that. Fight choreography is on point in the manga.
Nice.
And like there are a lot of real stakes, and Boruto has matured significantly as a character. I actually like him now, so that's cool. The other thing I want to talk about briefly, even though I did a whole full Comic Chasers episode doing an in-depth review, check that out if you haven't. I want to briefly just talk about and highlight the Godzilla vs. Fantastic Four one-shot that was written by Ryan North with art by John Romita Jr. It's really fucking fun. It's set in the 60s. All these one-shots are taking place in a different era, and North does a really good job of capturing the classic 60s Stan Lee Fantastic Four voice for all the characters. So that was really fun. And Romita's art, he's not trying to copy Kirby, but it definitely has that old school feel. And something else that I really like is that the Godzilla design that they used for Godzilla is actually a deep cut reference, because in the late 70s, Marvel actually had the rights to do Godzilla comics, and Godzilla actually did cross over with the Marvel Universe back then. So they used designs, based on that version of Godzilla. It has everything you could possibly want in a Fantastic Four versus Godzilla story. Most importantly, and spoilers if you haven't read it, but you should, they end up teaming up with the Big G to fight King Ghidorah, but not just a regular King Ghidorah, a King Ghidorah that has become the Herald of Galactus and powered by the power cosmic. And so the Silver Surfer decides to basically pour all of his power cosmic into the Big G so that Cosmic Godzilla, can fight Cosmic King Ghidorah. And then to try and help even things out, Sue decides to flex her powers a little bit, and because a lot of people don't realize that Sue's powers aren't just force fields. They're actually specifically being able to bend and refract light, which is why she can create force fields and become invisible. So she really kind of stretches that ability to its absolute max, pun intended, given it's the Fantastic Four. And she creates a solid hologram construct of the thing, making him kaiju sized, and so Ben's able to pilot it and punch alongside Godzilla to take down King Ghidorah. It was fucking sick. The only thing that kind of made me sad was that I know it's a one shot, and they ended on this cliffhanger of Galactus possibly showing up and Reed narrating it seems like a Galactus versus Godzilla confrontation is inevitable. And I'm like, oh damn it, don't tease me with Galactus versus Godzilla, and you're not gonna give me Galactus versus Godzilla. But overall, really fun book. If you're a Godzilla fan, definitely check it out. I sent Tony some images of the big splash pages of Cosmic King Ghidorah and Cosmic Godzilla. It's pretty fucking
nice.
Sick. But yeah. Also, just want to give a quick plug. Tune in to this week's Comic Chaser coming up, because we are going to be talking about the my thoughts on the big reveal of all new Venom, which comes out this week, which unfortunately, thanks to fucking leaks, got spoiled, so I already know who it is, but I won't spoil it for you guys. But yeah, I definitely have something to say on that episode, so tune in for that. All right, Brian, what about you?
All right, so not much for me. First of all, a little bit more watching Owl House stuff. I've really got into it. It's a really good show. And found out some behind the scenes stuff, apparently Disney's official claim of why it got canceled was because they were trying not to focus on serialized content.
Yeah, I heard that one.
But also apparently it's been said that Disney execs regret canceling.
Yeah, no shit. It had one of the biggest fan bases, and it was a ratings juggernaut for dying ass Disney Channel.
Also, one cool fact is, I didn't know this, but there's actually a self-insert character in the show.
Oh.
Dana Torres, the creator.
Oh.
Tynella Nostra, a.k.a. Tiny Nose.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, because if you look at her profile pic on Twitter, she uses that character. Oh, yeah, no, that makes sense now.
And she voices her, too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so... and it also makes the meta jokes about in the pilot her saying that we're in a simulation being controlled by a higher being. and the episode where she wants to become an author.
Yeah.
And also that joke that she was pretending to be the author of the in-universe fantasy
yeah,
series.
the witch book series. Yeah.
Lazura, that was
Lazura. Yep. Lazura the Good Witch.
Yeah, but so that was cool. Also, little peek behind the screens. And PSA to y'all, don't trust Google AI. The Google AI preview that it gives you when you Google, don't trust that, because I trusted it to tell me when the finale of My Happy Marriage was so that we could cover it for the podcast. Yeah, it was about 2 weeks off. So
that's why we had to switch gears suddenly, because we did tease My Happy Marriage at the end of last week's episode.
And we will do that eventually. Just also, unfortunately, the finale has been postponed.
Due to production issues, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yep, but whenever it happens, we'll cover it and the rest of the series.
Yeah.
But since I thought for a good chunk of the week we were covering it, I did finally watch the OVA and the first 5 episodes.
Nice.
I'm really liking it so far. I will say that I am kind of glad that we aren't covering it this week, because that is definitely one show that is kind of a little rough to marathon in one chunk.
I understand. Yeah, because a lot of shit happened. That's why I watch. That's why, unlike with Invincible, I actually watch My Happy Marriage week to week, or at least I did.
I won't spoil anything, but I will just say that I'll talk in vagaries, but the last episode that I watched was the one where she confronts her bodyguard.
Yep.
So yeah, kind of glad I got a break after that. But anyway, so that's cool, and I won't go into detail because we're doing the whole episode, like I said. And then lastly, you ever follow somebody online and then discover that they do a series that you didn't even know about?
That happens to me all the time, actually.
XP to Level 3 is a YouTuber that I follow. He's a D&D YouTuber. He does a lot of D&D sketches and commentaries on homebrew content and stuff. He even has his own source book that he wrote that's out. But anyway, he has a series on his channel called Dungeon Delve, where he and his D&D party friends, because he is a DM, they will go through a module, that's the word I was looking for, a module written by Wizards of the Coast, and try to play it rules as written, just to see how good or bad it is and all that junk. But 2 cool things about the way that he does it is he doesn't do it like Critical Role, where you see everything just bit by bit. He has a second channel where you can watch it, just the 4-hour or even one time 8-hour live stream that they do where they play the module. But for his main YouTube channel, he actually spends several hours editing it down to an hour and a half.
That's a lot of editing.
Yep. And a lot of the combats are just him narrating what happened.
No, that makes sense, because D&D combat is mostly the other night anyway.
And the second thing is kind of similar to how they do reality shows. There is also an interview booth thing
like a
that
confessional type thing. Interesting.
Yeah, with him and his players.
So do they do it in character, or do they do it out of character as a player?
Out of character, about how they feel about the module and what's going on.
Interesting.
Which leads to some funny stuff, one of the modules that they went through, which is a level 1 module, where I can spoil it because it's in the title of it. They face a baby white dragon at level 1.
Jesus.
And because it's what's written in the module, and everybody but the cleric dies.
Damn.
So in the end, he has to 1v1 the dragon, the baby dragon, and then go get reinforcements, and they have to redo the module. And because it is a one-shot, they don't mind being a little crazy. One of the characters is the twin sibling of one of the dead characters.
Oh man, when you said baby dragon, I really wanted to make a Time Wizard joke.
Oh yeah.
Same here.
But the funniest thing is the bard is one of the people that dies. His older mom, who loves to smoke and is a fighter, takes his place.
All right. Cool.
But it was just funny, and it's cool to see an interesting way to be critical about something by because you never know until you play it. So
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And like I said, the more truncated version is more palatable than, say, like Critical Role, even though I love Critical Role. But anyway, that's it for me.
Okay, cool. Tony?
Well, I went down a deep dive rabbit hole into a particular YouTube channel called Sir Superhero, who relatively recently started doing long form content, which he's not used to. And a couple of the videos that I want to like highlight is he went into a deep dive explanation on how Marvel vampires work. It was a 30-minute long video, and the whole premise was explaining the meme of Moon Knight wanting to shake down Dracula for
$5.
his money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, like, Marvel vampire lore is unnecessarily complicated. You got the whole thing with Varney. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And how Varney became a vampire because of an ancient Atlantean cult.
Yeah, it's really confusing.
It and the way Sir Superhero kind of condenses and distills everything is actually well written and very well researched. And you know how crazy like Marvel vampires are, how prevalent they are? Like, really, gents? They've been in over 900 issues over the years.
I mean, Tomb of Dracula was a long-running series for a very long time, actually.
70 issues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marvel vampires are intrinsically connected. Like, fuck. Tomb of Dracula had first appearances of noted Marvel characters like Blade.
I believe also Werewolf by Night showed up in Tomb of Dracula as well.
Oh, he had his own book.
Oh, he had his own book? Yeah, Blade definitely, I know for sure, showed up there.
And you know what's the fun fact that no one even realizes? Blade's British.
Yeah, people don't know that. Mostly because the Blade they're familiar with is Wesley Snipes. But yeah, Eric Brooks was born in London, and his mother was British.
And also, Sir Superhero wanted, because he brought that up, it's like, make Blade British, damn it! Come on, Marvel.
I mean, they gotta actually make a Blade movie, which apparently is impossible, I guess.
That joke that Wesley Snipes made in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right.
Looking more and more true, honestly. But he also went into a first in a series of videos that he's going to do, talking about the lore of Runeterra. So he's going to describe each of the individual regions of Runeterra in detail.
Is that also going to include like gods and shit too? Because like
he did in his first video. He did in this first video, basically giving a general overview of what each of the different regions represent, how the magic system works, and how the cosmic beings in Runeterra work. Because they are known as, like, the actual, like, gods are known as aspects. And they kind of work in Greco-Roman rule, where they are the embodiment of a thing.
Gotcha.
And also, they kind of run on Khonshu rules, where if you become an avatar, a piece of that aspect completely takes you over.
Makes sense.
And it's a crapshoot if you even get the, depending on what aspect answers your plea, it's completely at random. And also you have to go to a tall fuck you mountain just to do it.
Random bullshit go, yeah.
Another
and classic Moon Knight game.
Indeed. Good lord. But all the lore of this this particular world, because I don't even play League of Legends. I don't want to like subject myself to that. Because that's just not. I'm not built
after Arcane, like, and especially after season 2, I watched so many like 3-hour plus videos explaining the different regions of Runeterra and some of the champions. So it's really fascinating. It's almost like listening to those like 12-hour long 40k videos. Like, I'm never actually gonna like start building these kits or anything, but I like hearing about this lore.
This lore is fucking cool. And I like the lore of Runeterra. Its magic system is fascinating.
Oh yeah.
Because of Arcane, they had to change up some lore aspects that make things a bit confusing and overly complicated.
Yeah, in some aspects, and then they streamlined a couple things. But yeah, they did retcon and complicate a lot, like in the long run.
But it was a almost 50-minute long video talking about just the baseline of everything, even down how Runeterra was made.
Oh, nice.
And my favorite, by far my favorite 2 videos that he's done is The Complicated History of Betsy Braddock.
Oh man, let me tell you, that shit is very complicated. I'm actually reading the Psylocke ongoing series right now, and it's really dope because you actually get to really explore Quanon as her own separate character, which never really got to happen in like 20 years because for like 20 years she just thought she was Betsy the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But really, Betsy accidentally hijacked her body. Although, the funny story about that, the whole reason that happened was because of a miscommunication.
No,
Well, like it was technically undone, but Claremont, like Betsy had gotten back into her body in I believe the previous issue, but then when Claremont took over, he just said, "Nah, fuck that. She's still in the Asian body."
Yeah. Here's the crazy thing,
because Claremont has an Asian fetish.
Yeah. So Super actually went into a bit of that. Is Claremont just activated his kinks?
Yeah.
For a lot of
100%.
No, he did his kink thing for no fucking reason.
100%. He's also just really into body swap shit. Like, a lot of Chris Claremont's X-Men stories have a lot of body swap shenaniganery, and a lot of it is non-consensual body swap.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up there, Chris. The hell? Sir, calm down.
Hey, for at least I know it's looked down upon, but at least in the Outhouse episode of the body swap, at least that one was consensual.
Yep.
And Sentai has a history of body swap episodes where it became a trope for years. So I'm aware of the body swap trope being a thing, but when it is excessive and it's treated like a fetish, it's weird, dude.
But yeah, from what I read in the solicit, the Psylocke comic that's actually coming out this week as of the recording of this podcast is actually this new arc is actually gonna address kind of the tangled psychic aftermath of being so entrenched psychically, identity-wise, the difference between Quanon, Betsy, and Psylocke, and how she can parse all that.
Yeah. And this super long ass video on Marvel cosmology.
Ooh.
Marvel cosmology is very complicated, especially with Hickman's recent additions with the stuff from Gods, and I believe he's even going to do another thing called Imperium sometime this year.
Yeah, Sir Superhero actually mentioned Gods, and he really liked Gods.
Gods is great. A lot of people dislike Gods, but the people that dislike Gods are not used to reading super dense Jonathan Hickman fucking lore. Gods is great.
Yeah,
and this time he didn't even have to provide charts.
And it's something that's right up my alley.
Yeah,
I mean,
it is very cool. Also, it gave Hickman an excuse to create a Marvel version of Constantine, essentially.
Yeah, and I find it's split into the different eras, for lack of a better way of describing it, of how the Marvel we know that we're currently in the fifth version.
Firmament. The fifth firmament. Yep. Or
Yeah.
No, I think it's the sixth. It's either I think it's the sixth or the seventh, something like that, somewhere around there. Because technically, Secret Wars 2015 counted as a new restart. So I think it's the sixth or the seventh at this point.
Where there's small changes, but it's not anything major.
Mm-hmm.
But learning about the different firmaments, how they came to be, it's all utterly fascinating and dense as fuck.
Oh yeah, and the deeper, interesting lore about the not cosmic entities, but the primordial beings like Gaia, Chthon, Ashtar, and eventually Ashtar's children, which include Agamotto, who was a real person and was fucking badass. We actually got backstory on Agamotto relatively recently, thanks to Hickman and shit, so that was cool.
Yeah, and all of those types of videos are actually very cool. It's one I haven't watched yet, but he also did one on the morphing grid.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
And he's also part of a YouTube channel that he does with a few other TikTok related creators where they do D&D games. It's called the D&D Dorks.
I've heard of that.
And I just started their watching their campaign called Power Play, where they play Math.
Yeah, Tony had brought up that he was interested in Mask, and I was like, I remember that. Me and Brian came across Mask a while ago, but we never actually got a chance to try.
Yeah, because
it was a powered by the apocalypse type system.
Yep.
And I just find a lot of the story itself is very fascinating because there are no superhuman beings in this universe. Just nothing but ordinary people doing ordinary people things until a cosmic entity just splits apart and giving everybody superpowers. Not giving everybody superpowers, but superpowered beings came to be after the splitting of this cosmic entity that appeared in the sky one day.
That reminds me, speaking of superheroes, I meant to bring this up during the news segment, but I'll talk about it here real quick. I heard the wildest live action anime adaptation development recently.
Really?
Apparently, I believe it is CBS. I want to say it's CBS, but CBS and the guy who played Hero in Heroes are teaming up to make a live-action adaptation of the hit gritty fantasy manga Claymore.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
If you guys are unaware of what Claymore is a manga set in a medieval-esque setting, very similar to stuff like Berserk, where creatures called the Yama are hunting humans down. They're essentially like big demons, and the only beings that are able to stop them are these, sword-wielding girls known as Claymores.
Yeah, badass warrior ladies.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Claymore.
Claymore is a really good manga. They tried making an anime. The anime was not as good, but it was still pretty solid. But yeah, apparently Hero from Heroes is trying to make a Claymore live action series happen on CBS of all things.
Good luck with that, homie. I wish you luck, sir.
Yeah, same.
Yep.
Look, but I just find this particular story of random supers months after this life-changing event, basically becoming a super team and are part of a superhero talent agency called, and you'll love this, the Hero Complex.
Oh, that's nice. Good fun. Nice brand.
Ran by the editor, for lack of a better way of saying this, an individual by the name of Network, who is Sir Superhero's avatar when he does his long-form videos, by the way.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
It's a repurposed asset of the campaign that he ran.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I remember now. I actually follow Dean Dorks, and Sir Superhero, and a couple of those people. One of which is the Red Hood of TikTok.
Oh, that dude!
Oh my
I love him.
He's part of Dean Dorks.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I've seen Sir Superhero and a lot of the individual members of D&D Dorks. I've heard the name mentioned in passing, but I've never actually watched any D&D Dorks stuff.
One of the guys, I forgot his name now. He legit was just on TikTok doing music, but then he noticed that his music was being used for a lot of D&D TikToks. So he started investigating what D&D was and fell in love with it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
And he's one of the members of Dean Dorks.
Yeah, D&D TikTok is really fun. Even though I'm not as active on TikTok, in terms of being a content creator anymore, I still scroll.
And speaking of an individual who actually knows Sir Superhero, it's I think Mikhail is his name?
Yes.
Yeah. He actually posted a video on who is counted as an Omega level mutant.
It's very arbitrary at this point.
It is a very arbitrary thing, but I find it amusing that Chuck was never in the running.
Nope.
Just sorry, Chuck. You don't get it. You're not in the club.
I mean, that's because Charles has never been able to do the shit on a psychic level that Jean or Emma can do.
Also Quentin.
Well, yeah, but Quentin is also a possible Phoenix Force candidate, so duh.
Yeah.
Also, Mikhail just released a short today as of
yeah.
recording. We're talking about Gambit is British, but
God.
but then he was like, April Fools. But also, people don't believe everything you see online. You can cherry pick panels to prove whatever point you want.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yes, he-
Gambit is one of the names that was mentioned on that official like Doomsday cast list. So,
Which we might be talking about later.
Yeah.
wink, wink, nudge,
Yeah.
nudge.
Haha.
Speaking of which, it is time for that segment where we might indeed be talking about that cast list. And that segment is, of course, Trailer Talk. This is the segment of the podcast where our boy Brian has gathered together six brand new trailers as of the recording of this podcast. And I'm assuming because of CinemaCon, we've got a good bunch of them. At least like you said,
I told you before.
yeah. The
CinemaCon
ones they
didn't
showed at
release-
CinemaCon, they didn't release.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But-
this is just a hodgepodge of things that I found.
Okay. Well, either way, you can find all that stuff linked in the playlist down below, and you could pause the video real quick, check all that stuff out, and then through the magic of editing, we'll be back in a split second to give you guys our quick rapid-fire thoughts on these various trailers. But until then, please enjoy this word from our non-existent sponsors. And we're back! Alright, Brian threw us an interesting curveball at the end of this, but overall, solid batch. So let's go ahead and start off with where do you guys want to start?
Doomsday.
Actually, okay,
The Doomsday cast announced.
yeah. You know, really excited. We saw all those Merry Mutant names, and I cannot wait.
Yep. Even some that we were not expecting
I
to
was
ever
not,
come back.
I was not expecting Ian McKellen to come back. Patrick Stewart, I figured, was at least a maybe at best. But I did not expect Ian McKellen to come back. Kelsey
Alan
Grammer.
Cumming.
Kelsey Grammer Beast, like,
Yep.
blew my mind. I mean, we did technically see him in the Marvels,
Yeah.
but like, you know, he barely got to play Beast in the Foxverse. So I'm glad he'll get more time here. Like you
No, the
said,
theory is-
Alan Cummings, Nightcrawler, that's dope. We only really see him in that like awesome scene in X2 where he infiltrates the White House.
Well, he is throughout X2, but that's where we really got to see him.
Yeah. He doesn't come back. He doesn't show back up in The Last Stand. I mean, I guess that's for the best because The Last Stand kind of sucked. But you know,
But all of
Rebecca
these,
Romijn Mystique, like they didn't spring for Jennifer Lawrence.
well, Jennifer Lawrence said that she'd never do it again.
Oh yeah, because she hated all the blue,
Yeah.
and like she had to fight to just get them to just do CG in the last one. But yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting.
Yes, it is. And also, we're gonna get Sue and Namor in the same.
Finally! I am so excited. I'm so excited. I want to see Namor fail the Riz check like he does in Marvel Rivals.
Yeah. Also,
Because, I mean, this Reed is also played by Pedro Pascal. You can't out Riz over in Martel, bro.
nope.
Yeah.
No,
You-
you cannot.
You can, man.
Also,
The Red Viper is not someone that can be out Riz.
Also, Thunderbolts.
Yeah, we basically
we
got
already knew that.
confirmations on the ones that will survive against good old Bob, which you know we all kind of called because they're the more popular ones.
Yeah.
Also, it's the same theory that we have for when we see the trailers. That the only one that's gonna die is Taskmaster.
Yep.
So that we can hopefully so that'll open the door to actual like Tony Masters Taskmaster.
Because even Ghost was in that Doomsday list.
Yeah, but I'll be honest, Ghost is actually a cool character. I like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I care about
same.
Ghost. I don't give a shit about like not in name only Taskmaster Black Widow lady.
Yep.
Yeah.
But also when they posted this online, which by the way, that is just the trailer version. They released a live stream of it where they went down the line of the chairs, but they went super slow to show what I showed you guys in like the minute and a half trailer. It was like an hour.
Oh wow, that's real.
Yep. And they also cut a joke, which I'm sad they did.
Oh, the one with RGJ at the end.
No, in the live stream, when they cut to Ant-Man's chair, it was a small chair.
That
When
was
they cut to
funny.
Paul Rudd, it was a small chair,
Yeah,
but
that
in
was.
the trailer, it's a big one. But I'm glad to see he's still around.
Yeah,
Um,
which begs the question. Like, I know people. I know like there was that rumor about Majors. Like, you think we're gonna see Majors?
maybe.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah,
also know that in the post where they posted it on social media, RDJ commented on it, and he said something to the kin of that's only the beginning, and Marvel then commented back to him with the hush emoji.
Listen, fam. All I'm saying is you can't fool me, Marvel. Wanda isn't dead.
Nope. I mean, you're gonna bring back Ian McKellen, and you're telling me that
That's
you're
what I'm
not gonna
saying!
bring back.
There's no way they're gonna miss the
No fucking
opportunity of having Magneto and the Scarlet Witch. No. Do you know how long I've waited for that?
Years, man. Fucking years. And you know what? Fuck it. Give us one of the Quicksilvers.
Preferably, honestly, no offense, Aaron Taylor Johnson, preferably Evan Peters.
Well, it might have to be.
Oh, yeah.
Unless they do multiversal shit.
I mean, oh yeah, because technically Evan Peters is Ralph Boner. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I forgot about Ralph Boner.
Well,
But if
we're doing
they could bring back Aaron Taylor,
Yeah.
No.
because he was good
Yeah.
for like
I mean,
the little bit that
Yeah.
we saw him.
I mean, they could. They could, and maybe they'll make a Craven joke.
No. What I'm probably getting at here, gents, the thing I'm mentioning is that we don't even need to mention the Ralph Boner thing. It could just be the Quicksilver of the X-Men film universe.
Yeah, true. Could just be Days of Future Past Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Could be, but anyway. So yeah, we're probably getting a lot more because we didn't get any of the Marvels or.
You know what this could also mean? Unless Marvel are gonna be pussies and cowards about costumes like they have in the past. We could finally get Magneto in his purple outfit.
Put him in purple.
His fucking,
Now, you cowards.
you know, it's the purple cape, the red helmet. You know the one. Put him in it, damn it.
With the fun spikes on the helmet too, that look like a scarab.
You,
We need that.
because
now.
it's actually a stylized M.
Yeah.
X3 got close, but that was one of the few good things about X3.
Listen, man, stop being pussies about comic accurate costumes. Just do it. You saw how we popped off with Wolverine. You saw how we popped off with Gambit, damn it.
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Which, speaking of though, no female mutants.
Yeah, we didn't see it. I mean, obviously, we weren't gonna see like Elliot Page because Elliot Page is Elliot Page, so we weren't gonna see Kitty.
But
Anna Paquin? No, Anna Paquin.
No Famke Jensen. No.
I was also really surprised. We got James Marsters, but no Famke Jensen.
No
Yeah,
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry?
Halle Berry is a huge one to miss out on.
But no, we have a female mutant, technically, Rebecca Romaine.
Oh yeah, Misty.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
What?
yeah.
We just talked about her.
I mean, technically, like she's female presenting, but she's more like gender fluid. She's not like a defined she, I guess.
I know. I'm just saying in terms of like actors.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, there are so many characters that aren't in that list, so they're probably going to do more. Also, people are theorizing that they're going to wait until like either Comic-Con or D23.
I wonder if they're gonna bring like Olivia Munn back as Psylocke because like that movie sucked, but her costume was great.
She did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miss Munn.
I don't have a problem with her Psylocke. Her Psylocke was solid. I'm just saying the movie sucked, but like she did a good job as Psylocke.
Yeah, put her in something with better material. That's all we're asking.
Same thing with homie who played Bishop. I feel like he really got shafted.
Yeah, Omar Sy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because he looked and acted perfect.
Oh yeah.
For the little bits that we saw him.
It was to a T, but he only got like 10 minutes of screen time.
But you know something, gents? You know, this is what is telling me. Given the casting for at least Doomsday, I know just from inference what they're going to be doing for the first incursion.
Oh.
So, you know how in 2015 Secret Wars, the incursion was between the 616 and the original?
Universe? Oh, so you're saying this incursion is going to be the 616 in the Fox universe?
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of
Oh.
people are theorizing that because
I mean, Deadpool and Wolverine hinted at that as well, so that makes a lot of sense.
also people think that that's the universe that Monica landed up in at the end of.
I mean that makes sense. We did see Kelsey Grammer Beast.
Mhm.
Yep.
Did we see Hugh Jackman's chair? We didn't see a Hugh Jackman chair, did we?
No,
That's what I thought.
they're probably saving him for the big part 2 announcement.
Yeah. Besides, we all know he's gonna be doing it till he's 90.
Yeah,
Yep.
and here's the thing, though. Also combining that with elements of Avengers versus X-Men of all things.
I mean, makes a lot of sense. It might have been a subpar setup for a comic event, but it's a really good setup for a blockbuster movie.
Oh
Yeah.
And like, if they actually do some of those shits, like they do the Phoenix 5, oh my god! If I get to see Anya Taylor-Joy's magic with the fucking Phoenix Force,
Oh my god. That would be great. But also, dudes, I can imagine it now, just in my head. Magneto clowning around with Anthony Mackie's cap because he's got the metal wings.
yep. Oh man.
God.
So much cool, so many cool possibilities. I really do hope they at least, at the very least, get Anna Paquin and Famke Jensen.
Please do so. But we're not all going to be just having this related by this particular trailer. Let's talk about Karma. Oof.
Karma was intense. Like,
Ooh.
you guys, you can see, you know, you've been listening to us for a while, especially if you're a longtime viewer / listener. We are a bunch of chatty patties, man. You know, shit is real when we're watching something and all three of us shut the fuck up. No commentary whatsoever. It was just like, damn.
Our operandi is while we're watching trailers, we make a few clips, few jokes, talk about it. Well, we have it paused for like a quick second. But with isn't this a Korean?
Yeah,
Like
it's a K-drama from Netflix, yeah.
So all from what, at least from my understanding, it is a plot about murder.
Yeah, like some dude like having his dad murdered. It's like, oh, whoa.
Yeah. Different perspectives of like, would you be pushed to actually just want to murder somebody? And I'm like, these people are out here being crazy and shit.
And it looks like it's going to, because I got the plot now.
Okay.
Pulled up. And it's a desperate lives intertwined under the ominous shadow of an unbreakable fate. The story revolves around a witness to an accident, a physician traumatized by nightmare, a man whose world was upended by an unexpected event, and another man drowning in private loans. Each one is bound by the inescapable ties of a terrible destiny, weaving a gripping crime thriller following those trapped in ill-fated entanglements.
Damn. I mean,
Prime drama.
I was completely enthralled by that trailer. I'm definitely gonna check it out if we have room. This is definitely making it onto the podcast docket.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
And also, we were right. It is the best friend from Squid Games.
Okay.
Okay, cool. And then we have an odd pair for another trailer of our that we saw. Is a collaboration between Leo DiCaprio and Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, not Martin Scorsese. He can work with people besides Martin Scorsese? Who knew?
Yeah, crazy. And also, why do Leo have to look like Jack Nicholson?
He does. I was thinking the same thing. Rest in peace. Oh man.
The title of the film is
One Battle After Another.
After another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said it while we were watching it. I don't know what the fuck was happening in that trailer, but it made me want to know.
Yeah.
And it was so intriguing because, like, you know Paul Thomas Anderson for these like offbeat, quirky type movies, and this felt like much more serious and melodramatic. I was like, this is a different tone that I'm used to from Paul Thomas Anderson.
Here's the plot. When their evil enemy resurfaces after 16 years, a group of ex-revolutionaries reunite to rescue one of their own's daughter.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so that's why they're saying
Viva la revolucion. Yeah, that makes sense now.
yeah, and also like family drama too. Like mother-in-law's like
Leo gets his turn at like the trope that's been sweeping through Hollywood that's been fucking monopolized by Pedro Pascal. Dad
But
saves
this one
daughter
will actually
content.
be.
yeah,
But this one will actually be like related.
Yep.
yeah.
It's not a
And I
found
mean-
oh, yeah. So I should correct that. Pedro monopolizes the found family daughter Dedge.
No, it's just like found family thing in general. It's like also because Pedro also voiced
Yeah.
that fox from
Yep. Fucking
Wild Robot.
yeah, Wild Robot. Yeah. I was about to say the robot's name, or I was about to say like Bright Bill, but I was like, it's not called Bright Bill.
No, Bright Bill was the duck's name.
Yeah, Bright Bill was the goose's name.
Yep.
Yep.
By the way, this
One of the
this has
members.
Tanya Taylor in it.
Oh, huh.
And fucking Benicio del Toro.
Yeah.
Yep. As Sensei.
The
Yeah.
cast is stacked as fuck.
Sean Penn, Regina Hall.
It just looks good. Sometimes we don't know what the
Wood
fuck
Harris?
is going on. Ooh.
And again, I really like that this is like a different pairing. Like Leo, I mean, not to say that we haven't seen Leo work with people outside of Scorsese, but like he's been on a real Scorsese streak.
Yeah, he needs to kind of kick the Scorsese habit.
Wasn't Killers of the Flower Moon also a Scorsese movie?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
So. Mm-hmm.
But this one reminds me more of like a George Clooney directed movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of
honestly the vibe I got was very like Coen Brothers. Like it almost felt like Fargo with how like unhinged
too.
and disjointed it was.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Oh yeah, it's being sold as a satirical black comedy action film.
It definitely had a black comedy vibe. Yeah. No, I could. Yeah.
It
Definitely.
It is apparently loosely based on the Thomas Pynchon's 1990 novel Vinland.
Okay, cool.
For something completely different, but still melodramatic.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it, Jay?
I think it's Elodie, I want to say. That's what I heard. That's how I've heard people say it.
Or it does look like
There is an accent mark in there, so I'm definitely fucking it up somehow.
Italy?
I think it's a 12.
Etoile? I mean, that makes more sense because French.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
anyway,
it
it's
looks like a 12.
Etoile, okay.
the new TV show for Amazon by Amy Sherman Palladino.
Which, Gilmore Girls continuation notwithstanding, I still hate it. I've loved everything else Amy Sherman Palladino has done in terms of, like, TV shows.
Did you ever see Bunheads?
No! I'd heard good things about it, but I never checked it out. I did end up eventually finishing Miss Maisel. It did, and it ended very well. And I really liked that. And like I'm an OG Gilmore Girls fan.
Oh yeah.
I've always thought ballet was really interesting, if not super intense. Black Swan is my favorite Natalie Portman film of all time. Like I'm totally down with checking this out.
Yeah, because there's a lot of physicality when it comes to dancing in ballet.
And like a lot of like precision too. And the amount of like torture that like these like girls and gentlemen have to put themselves through to like actually get through their routines and training is insane.
I mean, just those shoes alone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you get trained from a young age to do that, man.
Mm-hmm.
But talk about the plot of this series.
Yeah. So basically, it's like a not Freaky Friday, but it's like a almost a Prince and the Pauper swap type thing where like the basically prima ballerinas, like, top dancers for their company on the Paris side and the New York side swap to kind of give the company a fresh face.
Yeah, to drum up intrigue and ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
And there's clearly a love-hate fuck type relationship between the female prima ballerina and the New York director.
Yep.
Which, by the way, did he look familiar?
He looked very familiar. I couldn't place him though.
He's Lenny Bruce in Miss Maisel.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it looks like they're actually bringing in like real life ballet.
Yeah, like the
Artists
the
for this?
choreography looked amazing from what we saw in that
Oh, yeah,
trailer.
definitely on point. And I think that's
Pun
one of my
intended.
favorite things of the trailer.
Mhm.
Is just on point precision dancing, and also how fucking fluid it works, and also
Like
it works with the line.
I know we like swear like sailors and shit like that all the time, but we are actually surprisingly cultured, y'all. We do enjoy ballet.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
indeed.
There
And
are the performing arts.
the
Hell,
cinematography for this show too.
Yeah.
like, folks, each of us come from a more artistic background.
Yep.
Jay and I, Brian, if I remember correctly, we're relatively theater kids in a like different parts of
Yep.
the theater community.
Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Tony and I just did straight up theater and drama, and Brian was a choir kid, which is which is like, you know, very theater adjacent. A lot of theater kids also did choir. There's a lot of overlap there.
Oh yeah,
Also,
definitely.
You gotta, and you also
Also-
kind of have to have the same energy as well. So like,
Definitely.
Yeah. Also, my school was like an on base school, so it was small, and those two sections would constantly bleed over.
makes sense.
When musicals rolled around, we had a lot of overlap with the choir. A lot of the times in my school.
Yeah, same.
I
Yeah,
also had schools like choir courses, but never like the main choir per se of my school.
I've told this story before to the guys, but one thing that I will never forget in high school is I auditioned for a talent show that is like run and hosted by the chorus, right? And I did my audition, and you know, one of the main judges on the panel was the chorus teacher, and like, you know, she's like, that was great. So you're Jeremy, and I was like, yeah. I was like, what do you mean? I've just heard my girls mention your name quite a bit. I was like, oh, really? I'm gonna go now.
And also, you know, I was also in a talent show for my school. I forgot what I sang, but I got third place.
Nice.
Good for you, man.
And it was even with mic issues.
Oh,
I know all about
Oh,
those.
that's just impressive.
And also, to my credit, though, there was no beating 1 and 2.
That must have,
Mm.
but
Two-
also with
two
mic
was a-
issues, that must have meant you really had to project. Good on you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
definitely a lot of
2
talent for Brian.
Thanks. 2 was a girl who did on the piano the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song
Oh,
with
damn.
no sheet
yeah.
music.
No sheet.
Oh,
music.
shit.
Damn, that's okay. That's a good flex. That's a big flex.
That's boss.
I respect
That's
that.
boss.
Yeah, and number 1 was the quarterback singing a Christian hymn.
Yeah,
Huh.
that's definitely gonna play to the crowd. Definitely
Yeah.
play to the crowd.
As for myself, I did tech for a good chunk of my high school career. I also was on stage as bit characters. I also co-hosted my high school's talent show for a couple of years.
My wheels were always too loud for me to be a tech ninja, so I was never allowed to be a tech ninja.
Yeah. You know what's the funniest thing about being an MC? When I did it, my comedic timing actually worked out in my favor because of the drama teacher I had in my high school years. He was a very sarcastic and very sassy man.
Oh yeah, no, I listen. My drama teacher is still one of my favorite people to this day. One of the only reasons I still have a Facebook is so I can check on him every now and again.
Yeah.
What's up, Mr. C? In case you're listening to this, I don't know if you are, because I have told you about this, but you know, just in case. Sup?
Also, I got to do something that was very on theme during that time.
Oh.
Consistent wardrobe changes, which was only amounting to changing out different suit jackets that I had.
I mean, quick changes are still tough, no matter on what level they are. But that's neither here nor there. We got lost in the sauce again. Reminiscing
Sorry,
about.
just real quick, if anyone was
memories.
curious,
Mhm.
I did Google it and figured it out. I did Wherever You Will Go by The Calling.
Ah, nice.
But our
Anyway.
point before we got to
It's that we
wrap
are
up,
appreciators of arts.
Yeah. The performing arts are a huge part of, like, you know, our lives, and you know, we like any shows that like deep dive into this kind of shit,
Mm-hmm.
especially
And-
if it's an art that we an art form that we particularly are like, you know, unskilled enough to not be able to do ourselves?
I mean, I'm as the most coordinated out of the three with a bit of some, not a whole lot, but some dancing experience. I would have a tough time myself, so yes.
But anyway, the show looks really good. We'll check it out if we can.
And like even if we can't, it's definitely gonna be at least at the very least a Scream Time show and mentioned on the wrap up.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because like
And then
it's definitely on my radar for sure.
another one
And
that's on our radar, Witch Watch.
Yeah.
Yes.
That
oh
looks,
my god.
It looks hilarious. I started in my head just calling it Aho Witch because that's basically what it is.
It is Aho Witch.
It's just Aho
Okay.
Girl, but as a witch with magical powers.
Should we at least give a Cliff Notes version of what we're talking about, Jay? Because I'm sure the folks at home may not know what the fuck we're talking about.
They should if they paid attention and actually fucking clicked the playlist like I told them and followed instructions. But in case they didn't, it's
No.
I think he means like explain what Aho is.
oh
Yes, the reference that we're specifically.
yeah, right.
talking about.
Yeah. The specific reference is to Aho Girl, an anime that I personally like couldn't get into at first because I was just like, this girl is just too dumb to function.
Yes, but
I just couldn't. But you and Jordan eventually won me over, and I see the merit, especially when
Yeah.
you adapted, you know, that personality into still one of my favorite characters you've ever played in one of our campaigns.
Oh yeah,
Stella,
Which
yeah,
who
was a witch.
is a dumb witch. Actually, holy shit, you're right.
yes.
Full circle.
Full circle moment. But the premise of Witch Watch here is, as succinctly as I can put it, Mojito.
Nico.
No.
Oh,
I'm
Mojito,
talking
yeah,
about
is the witch girl. Yeah.
No, Mojito is the dude that has to watch over.
Oh, Nico
Or
is the
Aho.
witch. I got so confused because they kept saying Nico and then cutting to the dude. So I thought, and Nico, I'm used to Nico being a dude's name, so I thought Nico was the dude. Okay.
No, Nico is the
Nico is the
witch.
dumb witch girl. Okay, gotcha.
So Mojito is our principal character. This very done with everybody shit looking man has to look after this witch named Nico.
And he has to
Nico-
basically prevent her from exposing magic to the world.
Yeah, I think it's kind of that premise.
Yeah.
But poor Nico, and I say this in the most tongue-in-cheek way possible, she wants to experience life as an adolescent. That means falling in love and doing dumb shit.
And you know, it's the classic like wacky, over the top dumbass with the straight man routine, and it's gonna be it looks like a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell just from the trailer alone, which, watch the trailers like we suggest you do. Because you get to see this girl just gush over Mojito. It's hilarious.
Yep. And he just like brushes her off like it's nothing. It's just like, come on.
But Mojito doesn't hold a candle to Akun, though.
Oh yeah.
And then finally, let's get to, it's not so much like a usual trailer that we cover.
Yeah,
But,
like I said, this was the curveball Brian threw at us at the end.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah.
we'd try something new because I heard everybody talking about it.
Yeah, it was a really
And
dope
it's a
commercial.
fandom we all like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a really dope commercial. For you know, a property that's near and dear to our hearts, Lord of the Rings, and like
Yep.
it was a whole big ass Lego set, and it was narrated by fucking Sean Austin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been proven true. It will take anime years to properly animate horses without the help of Legos.
This is why Part 6 will be trapped forever
Part
in
7.
production hell.
Part 7.
Part 7, yeah. 6 was Stone Ocean. 7 Steel Ball Run.
But if you ever want to get a Lego set and you just think to yourself, what is my biggest hyperfixation? And if it's Lord of the Rings and Lego, this is perfect for you.
See, here's my thing. I would totally be a Lego person if I wasn't so damn disorganized, and knowing myself, like I would end up getting pieces everywhere and then just end up hurting myself, creating like unintentional landmines.
Well, that's kind of the curse of Lego, dude.
I know.
You just deal with it.
Yeah, I'm big into Lego when I can be, but it is also a very expensive
Yeah, I
hobby.
mean, for adult Legos are fucking hundreds of dollars because they know adults don't play around with their toys. Pause.
Yup.
Yeah. Oh my god. But we want high quality stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think that I've spent almost like close to $100 on Japanese imports for tokusatsu toys?
Yep, and I've spent hundreds of dollars on anime figures, at least collectively. Most of these are like cheap $20 figures, but you know, collectively, if we add them all up, it's hundreds of dollars.
Oh no, I've done some number crunching for a lot of the collectibles I have when it comes to the Toku sphere. They are pricey
I mean,
compared
yeah,
to.
because yours are also like actually straight up direct imports, though. Like, so yeah, of course that's gonna be like
But-
much bigger price tag.
But anyway, this Lego set, it's of the Shire, and it looks really cool. And if I have the money and the shelf space, I'll probably get it eventually.
Yeah.
And in the same vein, also another Lego set that's near and dear to our hearts, Jay.
Yeah, I saw in the corner of that thumbnail. Yeah, they have a Pokemon one.
Oh yeah, they've been doing Pokemon
Yeah,
Lego.
Mhm.
Like the little Pokeballs that you can get of the individual
Yep.
Pokemon made out of Lego.
Yep, I've seen those.
I tell you, the one that I want personally, if it wasn't so damn expensive,
Mm.
the Pokédex.
Oh yeah, the Pokédex does look cool.
Are
I
we
think it's
talking?
like $50?
Ooh, Jesus.
It looks like the classic Gen 1 decks from the anime.
Oh yeah, that definitely makes sense.
But it's made completely out of Lego,
Yeah,
and it's life size.
which
Life
I bought the Pokédex toy back in the day, and I was so upset. I was like, this is a ripoff. It doesn't tell me any information about Pokemon. Little 6-year-old me was so heated.
Angry.
I wanted to learn lore. This just shows me pictures of Pokemon. Tell me facts. That's what a Pokédex is supposed to be for.
Like, speak, damn you, speak.
Come on, Dexter. I've heard you talk before. You talk to Ash. Why won't you talk to me? Good times. Good times. Simpler times.
Mm-hmm. But if that's everything,
Yeah.
why don't we get to our main event here?
All right. So now it is time for the main discussion. It is time for us to talk about, which we didn't actually even mention up until this point, the name of the show that we're covering. I kind of referenced it cheekily in the little intro bit, but we are talking about the Netflix original claymation animated series Wolf King Season 1.
Yep, which is based off of a series of books called Weir World.
Mm-hmm. Or what did you pronounce Werewolf?
Like werewolf.
Because they're were creatures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
No, don't feel bad. I when I first saw it, I also thought it was Weird World, but then I thought about the internal logic. I'm like, they call themselves like were people, so I was like, it's where,
Yeah.
I guess.
The werewolves.
Mm-hmm.
no, but it's funny because people say werewolf or werewolf.
Yep, werewolf.
It's a pronunciation gag that
Yeah.
I was trying to go for.
Yep.
Oh.
But yeah, so this time, unlike with Sakamoto Days, we can actually do a pretty decent sized spoiler free, and then actually go into spoilers. The way I wanted to do this is to not really kind of just go into full recap territory. I think you guys should definitely watch it yourselves. But I do want to kind of talk about our spoiler free at least first, and then spoiler filled impressions of the world, the characters, what we thought about it, so I'll go ahead and start. I think this world is really interesting. First off, I'm a sucker for good claymation, especially action-oriented claymation. I love shit like Kubo and the Two Strings, and even stuff like Monster House wasn't claymation. That was more like a 3D kind of thing. But Coraline, I would count as a little action-oriented because there was a little bit of fight in there. The animation is just really well done. The whole concept of the were people is really cool. It honestly reminds me of yes, they're kind of half animal, half human type things, zones from One Piece. But I honestly was thinking a lot of wargs from Game of Thrones. It very much gives off that vibe. I mean, not obviously it's different in concept. They're not like jumping into the skin of animals. They're directly transforming into them. But I got a very similar vibe to like wargs. At least wargs as they're described in the books, because the show didn't really do that good of a job with showing wargs outside of Bran.
Yeah, and even that they didn't fully explain.
Which is so whack, because Jon is probably the strongest warg of all the Starks, arguably. Bran is obviously up there because he's got green sight and all that. Not gonna get there. But anyways, point being, the wear transformations really cool. I like the concept of how it works. And the whole like established lore and hierarchy of like the fact that like the wolves were kind of a benevolent ruling like royal family, and then they were usurped by the lions, which like clearly like you can tell by a lot like the designs of Lucas and Leopold that it's very similar. Like there's definitely like at least what I clocked is that it reminded me of now I could be getting this wrong because I'm really bad at British history, but like is it King John that is the like lesser brother of Richard the Lionheart that was like notoriously bad?
Yes, that is John.
Okay, so I was right. Yeah, that was the vibe I got from like Leopold, and especially because like his King John, and very much ironically, because this character is also a lion, reminded me of the King John from the classic Robin Hood Disney animated movie a little bit.
Yeah, and here's the crazy thing, just on a small historical tangent. I'll keep it as small as I can. John was someone who was never really meant to be king.
Yep.
Overall. He was the fourth son of his father, and due to circumstances ended up becoming the King of England. Just thought I would throw that fact in there. An unlikely king, I should say.
Yeah. And then he also had just very big shoes to fill.
And also, there is some things that a lot of people kind of discuss in at least the history community, and a lot, especially like one person in the CK3 community, that say that Richard the Lionheart wasn't that great of an English king anyway.
Interesting. I mean, makes sense because, like, pun intended, he was, he is mostly very much lionized and kind of blown up to this like figure of legend because he's almost, quote unquote, the second coming of King Arthur in a way.
Yeah, and also the way, no, that's a thing we'll talk ad nauseum about. But the point is, it's just there's at least one person that hates Richard the Lionheart with a fervent passion. Just wanted to bring that up, which is just because we're dealing with like fictional lion men.
Yeah, and like another strong point to bring it back on topic is I really like the world building overall. Like getting to see like the different tribes and the noblemen, and like the different lords and how they operate and their cultures. The whole segment where they're just traveling around and learning about the world, it very much kind of reminded me of like classic Avatar: The Last Airbender. It had that kind of vibe to it, and I really like a lot of these characters. Hector's my guy.
Oh yeah,
Hector's great. I love the like lovable goofball sorcerer trope. It's one of my favorites. Personally, I have a feeling that the community is going to be split into shipping wars. But I personally, I'll go ahead and announce where I plant my flag. I really like Gretchen. Gretchen, I like her sassy banter, her attitude. She reminds me of like Sansa, if Sansa wasn't like a crybaby who like kind of followed the ways of kind of ladydom early on. Like this is Sansa post Littlefinger, but she looks like early Sansa.
True.
although she's not as like calculating and manipulative as post Littlefinger Sansa, but you get my point. Gretchen's cool. I really like Gretchen. Not to say that I don't like Whitley. Whitley's really cool, but also I feel like Whitley is too obvious of a love interest. Like, they're really telegraphing that one.
I mean, that one scene.
Yep.
With the moon.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Although I have a different perspective entirely.
But and the reason I'm rooting for Gretchen is just because it's very similar to, again, making the Sansa comparison, like, you know, or to make even another fictional comparison, it's kind of similar to Anna from Frozen. You know, she's about to marry this dickhead Hans, and here's this, you know, nice, if not, like, nice, well-meaning, if not really stupid dude Kristoff. Much better choice. Let's go with him instead.
Yeah.
Just instead of a moose who can't talk, we get Hector.
Yep. Which, you know, no offense, Ben, but I think that's an improvement.
Indeed.
Yeah. And do we want to get into those shipping wars right now?
I mean, I had to bring it up considering that I've always been a shipper.
Yeah.
Well, since
But is that your general thoughts?
Pretty much, yeah. So what about you guys?
Well, I agree. The best thing about this show is the world itself and the lore.
Yeah.
I really like it. I think it's very interesting. Not even just like the werelord, but also the magic system for this world.
Right? The magic system is so cool. Like,
but also minimalistic and grounded.
And like, just the fact that like necromancy is a much more common form of magic is so interesting, because, you know, in so many other fantasy settings, necromancy is like this just super taboo, oh, you have to be evil to use necromancy type thing. No, Hector's a good dude. He just uses it to FaceTime his dad. And his dad doesn't know how to work a FaceTime call.
He admitted the first time that in the magic community it's looked down upon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he does it anyway. Good boy, Hector. But yeah, the plot itself is a little...
It's generic.
Rudimentary.
It's super generic. I'm not even gonna front. It's very much by the numbers. Like, you know, you're not gonna see any big plot twist here. You all know this story by now. You've seen Avatar. You've seen other shit like this. We know how it works.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, this person is acting like this now, but eventually they're gonna act like that later.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
I can see that.
I didn't fall for any of that bullshit at all. I was like, yeah, okay, you're a traitor. Watch, they're gonna have a change of heart.
Yeah, that's who I was specifically mentioning. But it also very much, this show as a whole reminds me of a mix of different shows that we like.
Yeah.
Like Jay mentioned it before, Game of Thrones, Avatar, The Last Airbender, early Dragon Prince, when it was about them.
Which is funny because both shows are written by like similar people, like people who were main writer. Aaron Ahaz was one of the main writers in the on the writing team for OG Avatar, and he is the creator of Dragon Prince.
And then also Dragon Prince was also an animated Netflix show.
Yep, which is like really, really deep in now. Like, so many seasons. It's so many seasons ahead that I feel like it's too daunting of a task to catch back up.
It's over.
It's over? Oh.
I believe it's so.
Oh.
This last season that aired was the last season.
Okay, then I'll have to check it out at some point when I have free time, so I can at least know how it ended.
Yeah. But yeah.
The only difference between this and Avatar and Dragon Prince is there's no adorable animal mascot. No Bait or Momo or Appa. I miss Bait.
No.
Bait was awesome. That was my guy.
Mm-hmm. I have never seen someone be so passive aggressive without saying anything.
Right?
Oh yeah.
He was so grumpy, but like he also just expressed so much. It was such a good character.
Yeah.
Was that Dragon Pug from Dragon Prince?
Yep. The lizard pug. Yep.
Yeah.
That's Bait.
Love that guy.
That's
him.
my guy.
But anyway, like you said, Jay, talking about the animation. The animation is really good. I really like the animation.
It's super
I did some
fluid.
Googling.
Like
I did some
the sword
Googling
fights and
and
stuff are like way more intricate than I was expecting.
and from what I can tell, it doesn't seem like it is claymation, but it's CGI that mimics
Right?
claymation.
Yeah. Kind of like Monster House.
Yeah.
Yeah. But also one other thing that I Googled,
Mm.
I was like really interested in this animation studio
Mm-hmm.
and like seeing what else they did because usually
Did they also do that one Netflix show that was in this kind of style that we reacted to the trailer of, where like the main character was like a little black girl?
Wendell and something.
Yeah.
Wendell and Wild?
Mm-hmm.
No. I googled it and because you look at the animation of Vox Machina and you're like, why is that so good? And then it's the same people that did the animation for Korra.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this one I looked it up. They're known for doing effects in live action.
Huh. Interesting.
This is their first like full animated show.
Wow. For a first run, kudos.
Well, also
Yeah.
apparently they did most of the animation for this show during COVID.
Oh wow.
Impressive. I mean, there's some animation hiccups that I've noticed, but they were like minor.
Yeah, there was nothing.
Yeah,
there was nothing ever egregious.
And
Yeah,
I tell you,
absolutely.
tying back to something that we mentioned before, you know what I'd like to see this studio do? An Assassin's Creed show.
Oh, that would be, dude. Yeah. Because
I'm okay with that.
Because they were able to handle like the parkour stuff pretty well with how like agile Drew and some of the other characters were. Yeah, no, I could totally see that being a thing.
Like
Yeah.
at one point, I expected Drew or the shark guy to like just jump off a high point.
do the leap of
into-
faith. Yeah.
I kind of expected that too.
But yeah, those are my thoughts.
All right, Tony. General spoiler-free thoughts before we jump into spoiler thoughts.
I like things overall. Like you guys mentioned, I like the lore. I jokingly referred to it to the girlfriend as Game of Thrones with furries.
It basically is, though. You're
Yes.
not wrong.
Yeah, but the technical term for them would be Therians because they are were people. But she let me have my little joke there. Most of my frustration with the show is characterization and how you make a protagonist. It's an example of turning off your audience to your main character. That's kind of one aspect I don't like. I see the character progression. I see the character story. It's just the personality connected to the character was just bothersome to me as an individual.
No, I get that.
And some aspects that I wanted more of a deep dive on didn't really play into. Like, I like the aspects of what it means to be a werelord and giving in to your animal instincts. I thought that was very interesting, and it was like I felt like, to me, a bit of a footnote. Overall,
they definitely do kind of brush it over pretty quick, but I think that's more so because like they're probably gonna dive into it deeper into next season, considering where they left off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it kind of feels like it's a pacing thing.
I can understand
It's
that
like
because this season definitely felt entirely like a setup season. It doesn't feel standalone. It's definitely all setup.
Because I will say that the series that this is based upon is a 6-book series.
Ah.
That makes sense.
Which again ties into the whole thing of, like I was saying, where it felt kind of like season 1 of Dragon Prince, where season 1 of Dragon Prince was very set up.
Now I know,
You know
I know a lot of stuff has been getting renewed ahead of time. Do we know if this has been renewed yet?
No.
Okay.
Well, Jay, Brian, you know what this reminded me of? It reminds me of the first season of House of the Dragon.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah,
All set up.
I can see that too.
In terms of pacing and
Yeah.
how great it could be at times.
Oh yeah.
At least there wasn't any time jumps this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those time jumps were kind of necessary, but it is what it is.
I know.
But yeah, so now we're gonna go ahead and move on to our spoiler thought. Overall, I think this, just judging from all our general thoughts, the show does get the Channel Treasure seal of approval. I think if you're into like high fantasy, you'd like this, and it's definitely a unique animation style that I think is worth checking out.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And if you like stuff like Avatar, like Dragon Prince, Game of Thrones, you'll
And,
definitely dig this.
Oh, also one other thing that we didn't mention before is I know how most of the times it's a trend now for like 2D animation to incorporate CGI. This show kind of did the opposite.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Where it incorporated 2D animation in a mostly CGI show. Like when they do the transformation and there's that little magic around him. And like when he lands in the water that one time.
Yep. It's nice touches. It's very unique, like I was saying earlier. But yeah, at this point we are gonna get into spoilers. So if you have not seen all 8 episodes of The Wolf King, leave now or forever hold your peace. All right, now that we've given the spoiler-free people time to exit, let's go ahead and talk about it. So, I totally get where Tony's coming from with Drew. He's I personally like his character, but I was a Naruto fan growing up, and Drew is just straight up Naruto, like down to the has the demon inside of him, is afraid of that demon taking over full control, but is destined to be ruler of a nation.
True.
You know what my takeaway was when I first, as I was watching the show? Drew is just a whinier, bitchier John.
I can see that take. I don't fully agree, but I can see that take.
I'm with Jay. I can see where you're coming from, but I don't agree. I like Drew.
It's not like I hate Drew.
Cause like the thing is, right? It's he I will say he does get whiny at points, but honestly, like he doesn't do it, at least I don't feel, excessively, and he does have very good reason to be upset with all the shit he's been thrown into.
Yeah, I get the understanding and the reasons behind it. I acknowledge that, but I also think that if you're put in a position to where you need to do something, I know you're afraid of the beast inside, my guy, but it's life or fucking death. Or don't. And then just to give in, just as like fucking die, accept death.
Like,
look, it makes sense for his character. I just think that it's kind of it's like, how do I put this so you can actually understand what I'm trying to say? He kind of resigned himself to his fate that, I'm never going to be able to control the beast. It's hopeless. It's very doomer shit.
And I mean, like, that's the thing, right? Again, and like, this goes back to my complaint about it being by the numbers. Yeah, like, that's the exact move a protagonist like this would do, because, to take it to another protagonist that's very similar in a franchise that you and I both love. Look at somebody like Shiro.
Yeah.
Shiro would do something exactly like this. If he thought that everybody he cared about was at risk, but he could save them by just giving himself up, easily just throw his body on the line.
Yeah. And that's a criticism I have with Shiro. So it's both. So I get what you're trying to say as a comparison, but that's the criticism I have with Shiro.
No, and like that wasn't more so like me trying to poke holes in it. I was more so trying to like give an example for the audience so that they understand more of your point of view of why you don't. Why you don't kind of jive with this character, because you've never really like agreed with this type of with this protagonist archetype of like the savior complex.
Yeah, I wouldn't really say he has a savior complex. He is someone with a one-track mind of basically following what his mom set out to do with the intention of controlling the beast inside. But given the bigger political climate, he's too hard-headed to really stop and think of the situation at the start of his journey.
Also, to be fair,
the way I see it,
he was told by his best friend that a lot of people in his circumstance do give over to the beast and let it go wild, but usually they have a mentor trading them through it, and he's just shit out of luck.
And also, like the way I see it, it's more so that like given like the circumstances of the activation of his powers, it's more like his whole journey is a lot about kind of like overcoming self-doubt, which is, again, pretty standard, pretty generic for this type of protagonist and this type of setup. And like, I think it's more so like that when I say he has a savior complex, I don't mean he has it now, but he definitely is on the road to developing one, and I can see it from a mile away.
Yeah, I kind of see that vibe too, but
with everyone cheering his name at the end, yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like I don't like this type of character story. It's just the way that Drew presented himself as a protagonist.
No,
kind of
hurt me. He definitely comes off as a, like, you know, complain about my life instead of just stepping up. But I also feel like the stepping up is what is kind of like the big thing that it was like building up to. Towards the end, I feel like they stuck that with the finale at least.
Yeah, and I'm okay. And the way it went, I was okay with it by the end, but it was the journey as a whole.
Yeah, no, totally get it.
It was like, oh, I fucking get it, Drew.
Also,
come on.
Also, I will admit that this show suffers at several points from one of our least favorite tropes. And that's just talk to each other.
Right?
Yes.
Lack of communication was so fucking frustrating. Oh my god, yeah.
Another problem I had. It's like,
just have a conversation, damn it.
And one of the examples I want to bring up about that shit, Drew was so hyper focused on talking to Bergen that he escaped his own prison cell when fucking the Lion Prince Lucas was there.
Yep.
But he wouldn't have done that if the Duke had came to him and told him, dude, just sit here while I deal with this little shit.
Just relax, shut the fuck up, I will come to you eventually. Seriously, why didn't you just tell the kid?
Yeah. A lot of things could have been avoided. Yes,
Drew was a dumbass for breaking out of his prison and doing all that extra stuff, but he wouldn't have done it, like Brian said, if you had just been, or at least, you don't even have to tell him yourself. He's already pretty good friends with your daughter. Be like, hey, Whitley, go tell your buddy, just chill for a bit. I'ma come to him, but I can't blow my cover, because we saw that he's clearly undercover resistance. He doesn't actually fuck with the lions, but he's got to keep his family's heads above water.
Yeah, and that's what Brogan did. Brogan basically told Drew as much, but he still did what he did anyway.
Well, it would have meant more if it came from the dude that his mom told him to see.
I know. That's what is frustrating, Brian.
Yes.
Yeah, no, yep. We're all in agreement. We're basically all saying the same thing in different ways.
Also,
lack of communication was definitely a big issue, and it only happened to pad time. I feel like.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if they had just had these conversations, these episodes would have gone by so much quicker. And there were only 8 episodes in this show, but man, they packed so much shit. And again, I really like the world. The world is really cool. But dude, you guys are making this thing way too fucking dense.
Yeah, it was weird.
22-minute episodes.
It was one of those weird situations where it was too much and too little at the same time.
Exactly. I didn't understand why Brian said in our group chat that he had to take a break after the first episode, but after I finished the first episode, I was like, oh no, I totally get it. That was a lot.
It took me 3 episodes before I took my first break from it, in all honesty. And and for me, the way my brain works, I can piece some things together a lot quicker. It's just a weird Tony thing. But then I started really thinking about it. Even though it was a cool moment and it led to an exploration into Drew's psyche, which that was a cool thing. I will admit. But the way we got to it seemed a bit out of place.
Felt forced.
With the Vela thing.
Yeah, it felt forced.
Yeah, it's look, I get that we have a were-serpent that basically gave in to the serpent a little too much and she just lost herself. And I think that part of the lore is cool. I find it so fascinating.
And again, to bring up what you said, and to also tie into what Brian said, this show kind of has a balancing problem.
Yeah.
It tells a lot in certain sections, but it's the shit that they like exposit about, I don't really care as much. Not that I don't care at all, but the stuff that I care about is what you were talking about. The stuff about like losing yourself to your animalistic side. What does that do to you? How does that happen?
And it was explained that through Hector how this particular werelord, Vala, just ended up losing herself to her serpent form, and she ended up that way for years. Ended up becoming the god of the Wildermen, which I want to know more about these individuals.
They have a really cool and very striking design.
Yeah, I want to know more about that backstory. Like, how did they come about? Because they worship like the spiders and Vala as gods.
Yeah, so like,
I wonder how.
Like, are they a group of indigenous people? Are they like a religious group? Are they like basically like clerics for the spider and Vala, essentially, like war clerics, kinda?
Also, are they ints?
Yeah.
No. Their flesh, they're just wearing tree
they
bark.
just use tree armor.
Oh.
They use tree armor. You actually can see their skin under it.
Cool.
They are actual people.
But
they also take up the practice of filing their teeth too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I'm more interested in like the small eccentricities of this world than a lot of the characters' journeys within the world itself. If you get what I mean.
I also don't care for the political subplot. Not because I don't like political intrigue. I'm a fucking Game of Thrones fan. Of course I love political intrigue. But this is clearly like, not to disparage the series, but you can tell that this is like baby's first political intrigue.
Oh yeah.
Because like it's being telegraphed so hard, and like I get it. We are adults. We're grown men. This is a cartoon. This is the primary audience is children. We have to consider that. But at the same time, we are reviewing this as grown men. So like I just don't care about this political intrigue because like it's almost fucking cartoonish.
And also, by the end of the episode, we learned that there are more lions in an empire across the sea.
Is that what he was? Because honestly, I had no idea what that cliffhanger was supposed to be.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one confused, because I asked Tony that same question, like, who is that fucker on the island?
Yeah, that's another lion.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, they're from the context clues that I picked up, Drew's adopted brother went to the real home of the lions, which, in a typical fantasy setting, a lion empire from across the sea deciding, I'm going to carve my own kingdom up. Mm-hmm. It seems like a well-telegraphed story for Leopold.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it also seems like they're going to probably go down the Blood of Zeus route, basically.
Mm-hmm. And that was another thing that was like, they touch on it a lot, but they also kind of barely touch on it. What is this whole thing with like his dad? Like, is his dad still around? Are we doing like a Hunter x Hunter thing?
No, King Wirgir is dead.
Okay, so he's like 100% confirmed dead.
Yeah, he was murdered by Leopold.
Okay, got you. That's what I thought, but I wasn't entirely sure.
Yeah. And also, it's kind of fucked up, but it does happen in medieval history where sometimes the conqueror takes the previous king that he conquered's wife as his wife.
Oh, yeah.
Which, in turn, would make Lucas and Drew half-brothers.
Yep.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, he also... but he didn't just take the new queen as his wife, he also magically roofied her.
Right?
That's because the fucking rat bastards.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The twins.
Yeah, those creepy motherfuckers.
I called them blood and cheese.
Yeah, they are blood and cheese. They are.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were trying to kill children too, so not
True.
too far off. But yeah, like, it's good. It really is.
Yeah.
But like, but it's definitely a kid's show.
Mm-hmm.
And like, it shows more. It's not something like the Owl House, which is a kid's show, but very much like deftly handles mature topics. Not saying that it doesn't, because it has, but it's very much just kind of a generic hero story rather than handling it with
um,
any kind of like nuance.
When I think of criticisms of this show, at least partly, you know what it also remind me of, which, but definitely isn't a kid show, Creature Commandos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I'm gonna have a similar rating to that.
I don't remember what we gave Creature Commandos.
I think we were like the 8.5's close to 9, Jay.
Yeah.
Or
No, we weren't.
What was
Do
it?
you actually want to know?
Yeah, I am curious.
Creature Commandos, we all gave it an 8, solid 8.
Solid 8? Huh. Okay, well,
So-
let's go ahead and jump into final thoughts and ratings. I'll go ahead and start. The 8 isn't too far off, but honestly, now that like I've actually like brought up my criticisms and kind of seen how much they stack,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go with 7.5 on this. Because like 8, at least how we've been scoring things, 8 has always kind of been my like barometer of solid show that I liked but hasn't reached great. 7.5 means it's almost to that, but not quite. And there are a lot of like little things that are holding it back from getting to that 8 territory.
Oh, yeah.
That's my thought process on what my rating is going to be as well.
Yeah, same. I wish this is one of those shows where I wish I like it, but I wish I could like it even more.
Right? Same. Because there are parts that really do interest me. Like Tony said, there are parts of the lore that are fascinating, but like,
So,
it's not the spotlight.
in
Yeah.
the end, I hate to be a broken record, but I think I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Oh, it looks like it's another unanimous table decision.
Actually, mine's just a flat 7.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
I can understand that.
Yeah, no, you were definitely a lot more critical. Makes sense.
And I don't want to misconstrue this as me just not liking the show in general. I do. I just want it to improve. And as the first outing,
Like,
it did.
I hate to like jump into cliches, but like it's almost like that like fucking parent cliche. I'm not mad. I'm just kind of disappointed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what my thought process is. But I am willing to be proven wrong when another season pops up.
If we do get another
I
one,
want
because the show does have a lot of potential, but like it didn't really capitalize it in ways that I personally wanted to.
Which makes
Same.
me more interested in, like, how are the books?
Yeah,
That's what
same.
Oh, and before we actually get to finishing, there's one thing we forgot to fully mention.
Mhm.
Shipping war.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree with Jay. I prefer Gretchen, and I like the other one just as a friend.
Same.
I'm a Hector X Drew person myself.
Yeah, Tony threw a curveball, and I was like, huh, that's interesting.
If they went there, bravo to the team.
Oh yeah, I would be here for it for
Um,
sure.
This is the
Oh,
vibe
yeah,
I'm getting.
indeed.
Vibe I'm getting. Like, really, it could be me just reading into it too much, but this is a long time for me just kind of like, hey, this is like first time in a while that I mentioned a non-hetero ship that I'm actually just vibing
I mean,
with.
To be fair, like, to draw the Naruto comparisons again, a lot of shonen ride or die bro ships are borderline gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Look at you. I'm looking at you, Naruto and Sasuke.
And also, I can see the makings of, even if they don't, like, actually get together, like a Turk JD situation.
Oh yeah, 100% a Turk JD situation where they're like essentially they act like boyfriends, but they're in committed hetero relationships for some reason.
Yeah, but I still have that ship. I'm on that boat. You can't change my mind otherwise.
Listen, man,
No.
like look, suppose fly your flag on whatever ship you want to fly it on, whether it be a crack ship or a regular ship.
I mean, hell, you probably don't understand this reference, Tony, but we are both hardcore Supercore fans.
Yeah, no, we definitely shipped the ship that we can't say wasn't there, but we knew the show would never actually give it to us because they're fucking cowards.
And that was Supergirl
And Lena
with,
Luthor.
yep.
Oh my god.
It was the chemistry was off the charts, man.
Like that crazy?
Oh, it was.
And they acted like jealous ex-lovers same time they were in a relationship.
100%. It was, dude. Oh man, the edits that the fandom has of these two.
I mean, hell, she even did like the Superman over the arms carry.
Yeah.
That Superman infamously does with Lois her.
Yep. Yeah, she did. She did the Lois Lane style princess carry. Oh my god. Yeah. It's a whole thing. We honestly could do a whole video on the wasted potential of Supercore, but that's not this topic. But yeah. So 7.5. It's a solid show, man. Like, don't get it misconstrued. Like, I know, like, if you guys have been here for a while, you know we gave Monkey King a 7, and we really shitted on that one because it was super forgettable. But
oh no, I remember my rating
I gave it a 6. I think we gave it a 6.
Yeah, I gave it a 6. I remember that.
I think I gave it a 6.5.
Right. I think Tony and I gave it a 6. You gave it a 6.5. But yeah, so like, so it goes to show kind of as like a barometer. Like, it's not forgettable. It's a very interesting show with a lot of potential, but I just really don't feel like it capitalized on that potential in this opening season. And first impressions are really important, especially with TV shows where there's going to be at the very least a year-long gap in between.
Like I said, they've been working on this show since COVID. So 5 years.
Yeah. So that pretty much wraps up our main discussion for Wolf King Season 1. So, Brian, why don't you tell the lovely folks at home what we will be covering next week on the Channel Tracers podcast?
Well, we are continuing the animation train, and we are continuing the Netflix train.
Let's rock, baby.
But this time we're going overseas, because we are going to cover Devil May Cry.
I say again, let's rock, baby. If you know, you know. This is still going to be weird for me because of Johnny voicing Dante, even though Johnny already voices a character in the universe. But still, he's a great voice actor, so I know he's going to do a great job regardless. So, you know, I think it's going to be fun. There's no way it can be worse than the other Devil May Cry anime they tried to put out before.
Oh yeah, especially because this is done by the guy that did the first 2 seasons of Castlevania.
Yeah, the good seasons.
Yep.
Although I still feel like Castlevania overall, excluding Nocturne, was relatively solid. But that's me. Alright. Looking forward to it. I'm a huge Devil May Cry fan. So, like, I will definitely have a lot to say in terms of, like, comparing it to the games and such. And, like, I have high expectations. I especially hope it can capture the, like, over-the-top humor and sarcasm that Devil May Cry is known for. It's gotta have as much cheese as a Taco Bell meal. Let's hope it lives up to those expectations. But alright, folks, this has been the Channel Tracers podcast. Until next week, we will catch you guys later. Peace.